What up, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Fizzer Prison, SoundCloud. Check out my album Tone, just right there. But listen to Bill O'Reilly. Listen to what this buffoon said. Just try to endure this, please.
Tonight. Factor tip of the day. As we mentioned, Talking Points memo, Michelle Obama referenced slaves building the White House and referring to the evolution of America in a positive way. It was a positive comment. The history behind her remark is fascinating. George Washington selected the site in 1791 and as president laid the cornerstone in 1792.
Was a slave
Washington
owner.
was then running the country out of Philadelphia.
He was a slave owner.
Slaves did participate in the construction of the White House. Records show about 400 payments made to slave masters.
They paid the masters, not the slaves.
1901.
Okay.
In addition, free blacks, whites, and immigrants also worked on the massive building. There were no illegal immigrants.
But they didn't get paid.
If you could make it here, you could stay here.
Okay, according to you.
1800, President
No. Stop. According to you, let's go back. According to what you just said.
Also worked on the massive building. There were no illegal immigrants at that time.
Right.
If you could make it here, you could stay here.
Right.
In 1800, President John Adams took up residence in what was then called the Executive.
Who was a slave owner, but let's go back.
Slaves did participate in the construction.
Right.
Records show about 400 payments made to slave masters.
To slave masters. So anybody who worked there that was a slave or an immigrant, or you like to say legal immigrant, did not get paid. The payment went to the slave masters. Okay, let's because that is the very definition of slavery. You're working for pretty much for free. You're not getting paid for your labor. That is called slave labor, you idiot. So quit trying to make it seem like it was a good thing.
Between 795 and 1801. In addition, free blacks, whites, and immigrants also worked on the massive building.
Stop right there. Free blacks, whites, and immigrants. Let's stop. For one, if you're going to put the word free and then blacks and then add on immigrants and whites, let's just differentiate right there. Because for one, there were no enslaved whites at that time, but there were enslaved black people at that time. There were also enslaved immigrants at that time. So let's stop adding on white people as if there were as if there were white slaves. Free blacks, immigrants, and no, cut it out. There was no white slavery during that time. Stop it.
No illegal immigrants.
If
you could make it here, you could stay here.
That's because you took their land,
President John
which
Adams
is Mexico.
took up residence in what was then called the Executive Mansion.
The Executive Mansion.
Only later on they named it the White House.
Mm-hmm.
But Adams was in there with Abigail,
right?
And they were still hammering nails.
And let's stop right now. He was also a slave owner. John Adams was a slave owner, and he also slept with a bunch of his slaves, and that's why you have a bunch of so-called mulatto people out there now, because they can go back to the descendants and find out that it was some of these presidents, and he was one of them. So let's quit acting like black people had some type of free choice. They weren't free. If they were there to work, for one, they did not get paid. They did not get paid for working there. You know what, white people? You know what? I love how you skew history in order to smooth it over, You just smear it over as if it was a good thing. You just smear over slavery as if they worked there for free. They did not get paid. All the money went to the slave owners, but they were still there working. So you want to try to say that because they were working, this was a good thing. If you're working and you're not getting paid, it's not good. Oh, man, just in the face, right in the face, just one time. It was
still going on. Slaves that worked there were well-fed.
And
had decent lodgings provided by the government.
Slaves that worked there were Slaves that worked there were well fed and had decent lodging provided by the government. Is there anybody else that sees something wrong with this? Does it get anybody right here when you hear slaves were well fed and had decent lodging? Does it just woo? Does it just make you want to pray for him right now? Oh, does it make you want to lay hands on him? Oh my Lord! Oh, Bill O'Reilly, I want to lay hands on you. I'm gonna lay some hands on you. Woo! Just bless you in the call down fire in the.
Stopped hiring slave labor in 1802. However, the feds did not forbid subcontractors from using slave labor. So Michelle Obama
Did not forbid subcontractors from using slave labor. Once again, trying to smear over the fact that there were slaves. And Michelle Obama mentioned the very fact that slaves built the White House. Slaves built a lot of America. You know, we, as in black people, as in our ancestors, were made to build this country because, for one, okay, if there's no work anywhere else, if you're not finding work, or when you go to work for somebody you're not getting paid, and or you're getting constantly discriminated against, and or your family is being burnt out of their house, Rosewood, their whole territories, and or the place where you were living, they were hanging you, feeding your children to alligators, cutting off your penises, hanging your pregnant wife upside down after they cut her baby out. And they were doing all this in front of your face, which they are still hanging people. Sandra Bland was not the only person hung last year. There were 6 other women hung in the same month last year. So let's quit acting like slavery was some type of, it just happened. You bastards are going to pay for that. And that's all that's to it. Now, more from this idiot.
is essentially correct in citing slaves as builders of the White House, but there were others working as well.
Others
Got it
were,
all? There will.
but there were others working as well. Mm. There were other people telling slaves what to do, and that's considered working. Hey, slave, uh, you who are not going to get paid for anything that you do, we're just going to feed you, and you'll be able to stay in this shanty part of this unbuilt structure, even though it's raining and it's cold outside, cold as heck. You can stay here instead of just going all the way outside in the field. You either lay on this wet concrete that's bricks all over the place, you and your wife and kids, and there's mice everywhere, and there's mosquitoes or whatever the hell, or you go out in the field and do it with the pigs or whatever else is out there. That's your choice. We're gonna go into the executive suite, and we'll be out tomorrow. But if you're not here, you don't eat. So what you gonna do? You know what? Y'all gonna pay for that. Y'all gonna pay for all that. I know y'all think it's cute, and I know y'all think, it just happened, or my ancestors did it. Well, your ancestors are still doing it. And not all white people. I get some white people died, fighting for blacks, fighting with blacks. I get that. But the white people who think that it's still cool to act like this and still killing black people and doing all this stuff to black people, y'all are going to pay for that. It's going to come down on you. And when it does, we're just going to be looking at y'all like you did it to us. And that's just that. I got no more prayer for just angry white people or black people, for ignorant black people. I have no more prayer for y'all. I have none. I have no more prayer for police killings. I'm not marching. I'm not doing anything. I'm not voting. I would never vote for Hillary Clinton, and I damn sure ain't voting for the freaking idiot reality show dude, Donald Trump. Donald Trump is more like it, who's an immigrant himself, him and his damn wife who stole Obama's speech, Michelle Obama's speech. I'm not voting for none of you clowns. Because it's the same thing year after year. More police kicking our ass, more police killing us. Nah, I'm not. I'll vote for the person who goes and indicts all of the police within the last 30 years who are still living, who killed black people, and gets rid of all the federal government police that won't indict these jokers, get rid of all those people. That's a person I'll vote for. You get bring our soldiers back from killing people in other countries, bring them back. I'll vote for that person. And don't say I'll bring them back in a week. I mean, bring them back right now. Bring our soldiers right back here. That's a person I vote for. You take all them police, you indict them, you put them in jail for murder. 100% murder. You put them in jail for murder. You put them under the jail for murder. That's the person I vote for. You people are stupid, and it's going to happen to y'all, and we're going to laugh at y'all when it does.